Hey friends, it's Jasmine, and I hope that you all are doing well. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I am a practicing witch and a high priestess of the Solar Court Coven. I teach occult classes, whether it be on Patreon or in the metaphysical store here in our city. And I'm also a content creator, so you can find all of my links down below in the description if you are interested in following me here or elsewhere. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and I'm excited to kind of talk about today's video with you. The witch's devil. Now, I have made some videos here on my channel about the witch's devil, my journey with the devil, and some devilish musings, if you will. And I've also talked a little bit about it on my live show, Daughters of Cain, that Australia co-hosts with me. We do have a live stream scheduled, I believe, for April, talking about an aspect of the witch's devil. But today I wanted to kind of talk about this aspect of the seasons of the devil. So first, let me just kind of describe what I mean by the witch's devil. In case you haven't seen some of my other videos, or maybe you have, but just to reiterate, when I am talking about the witch's devil, who is the witch's devil and what is the witch's devil? Well, let's get into it. In traditional witchcraft, the concept of the witch's devil is quite varied. There are just as many versions of the devil as there are stories of the devil and witches that work with the devil. So the witch's devil in traditional witchcraft is kind of a conglomeration of multiple different gods and folkloric spirits. Now, one of the theories with the witch's devil is that during witch trials, we have these witch trial records that talk about witches going to go pact with the devil or to go work with the devil. And a theory that's just kind of put out there, that's at this point almost kind of like fan fiction, if you will, is that these devils were in fact pre-Abrahamic pagan gods. And while these witch trial records were being written, of course, you have to take into account mass hysteria and the fact that people were quite literally being tortured and unalived in order to get specific confessions out of them that would fit the narrative of the church. But a theory exists that any deity outside of Yahweh, any deity outside of the Abrahamic God would automatically just be lumped in with the devil, because anything that is not of God in the eyes of the church is automatically of the adversary. Now, for me personally, I have made a video talking about my journey with the devil and my experience with the devil. And so you can check that out if you want a little bit more intimate information about how I came to be working with the devil in my own practice. But like I mentioned earlier in this video, I really want to talk about this idea of the 4 seasons of the devil. For some witches, the witch's devil is almost that of like a lover. For other witches, the witch's devil is almost more like a parental figure, a lover, a mother, a father. For other witches, the witch's devil might be more like a familial relation in the sense that they feel connected to the devil by their witch blood. And for other witches, the witch's devil might feel more like a familiar spirit that is inherited upon initiations into the craft. Regardless of your personal gnosis with the devil and how the devil appears to you, because if you are a witch that works with the devil, in my experience, the devil very much will come to you in a form that you can best understand. And the devil does so, I think, intentionally. For myself, I'm kind of the belief that the witch's devil is representative of the craft incarnate. If we were to personify witchcraft into a sort of spirit effigy, the devil would be made manifest. And I think this idea of the Baphomet archetype, I think this idea of this half man, half beast, half man, half woman, as above, so below, celestial and earthly, heavenly and infernal, this alchemy sort of concept connected with the Knights Templar and that whole story is a really good image for the witch's devil. Now, you can definitely personify the witch's devil in other forms, and you can absolutely interpret the devil in your own way. And I do want to say in this video that a lot of this video is going to be based in my own personal UPG, which I know is not everyone's thing. So if you're not interested in hearing, you know, some of my UPG, this video may not be for you. However, I think that for neo-traditions like the coven that I'm a part of, or for our own personal solitary practice, building your own UPG, I think is one of the most important things you as a witch can do, not only for yourself, but also to create real sacredness in your own personal practice. And this is also how living neo-traditions grow. The coven that I'm a part of is a neo-tradition, meaning that it's new. It's a new tradition. Our website is linked down below in the description of this video. We are the Solar Court Coven, and you can see that our coven was founded in 2017. We don't really need to pretend like we have a lineage going back to the 1500s, 1600s, 1800s in order for our practice for us to be meaningful. Now, that's not to say if you are part of an organized lineage, more power to you, and I have no issue with that whatsoever, just so we're clear. But I wanted to say that to give you a little bit of more understanding and background on where I'm coming from. So, I have read a few books recently that have greatly given me some deeper insight into the witch's devil. And one of those books would be To Call Ye Forth, which I mentioned actually in one of my videos where I was talking about the books that I was currently reading. And To Call Ye Forth is also kind of like a witchy erotica work of fiction, so take that with a grain of salt as well. But if you know me, if you're familiar with me, you know that I love weaving pop culture things or fiction things into my practice, because I feel like oftentimes there are threads of truth or origin woven into those stories. One of the things in To Call Ye Forth that really, really resonated with me is in the story, there is a coven of witches, and they work with the witch's devil. And every witch in this coven works with the devil in a different way. And like I mentioned earlier, the devil also appears to these different coven mates and kind of serves different roles. To one witch, he is like a fatherly figure. To the next witch, he is like a lover. To another witch, he is like a close friend. But to the entire coven, he is very much like a familiar spirit that is kind of earned or gained through the rites of initiation into the craft. Each witch also personifies the devil through various horned gods or folkloric spirits, and that really resonates with me. And as someone who is in a coven, who's reading a book about coven witches, it was just really fun to read that book and connect with those characters, because so many of those characters I could identify with in my own coven as well. I highly recommend that you go check out To Call Ye Forth. It's a really good book, and I think that the second one is supposed to come out in April or May. I'm not really sure, but it's worth checking out. And I'm new to like witchy fiction in general, and it's got my full stamp of approval. I think that you'll like it. One of the main things that I wanted to talk about in this video are the seasons of the devil. Now, the witch's devil, in theory, is much older than even we are. So our understanding and our personal gnosis, to some extent, is a bit limited because it represents this massive arcane mystery that is personified through the astral into the physical. And that understanding is built through a personal working relationship with the devil. And these 4 seasons of the devil are connected to spring, summer, fall, and winter. Now, these spring, summer, fall, and winter aspects also kind of coincide with the wheel of the year, if that is part of your practice. Or you could think of it as the winter solstice, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, the fall equinox. Or you could think of it in terms of the cross-quarter holidays, whatever makes the best sense to you. For myself, I very much see the devil personified throughout all of those sabbatic turnings of the wheel, but I feel like the equinoxes and the solstices, for me, connect the devil strongly. And if we think about the 4 seasons of the witch's devil, that also leads us into the 4 seasons or the 4 shades of the devil as well, which would be gold, green, red, and black. First with the gold devil. The gold devil would be the devil of the sun, the devil of illumination, the devil of beauty, the devil of light, the devil of psychic abilities, the devil of seers and oracles. This might be Lucifer to some or Azazel to others. Your name for that devil, your connection to that devil may differ. You may also associate the golden devil with summer instead of spring. I was talking with Australia because we have this devil's live stream scheduled for Daughters of Cain. And it was interesting how we both resonate with the seasons of the devil, but we assign them to different placements. So for example, she would associate the green devil with spring, while I associate the green devil with summer, and I would associate the golden devil with spring. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I associate the devil with the seasons and what that means for my practice. So the golden devil I associate with the vernal equinox. The golden devil, the lord of the sun, and the vernal equinox is a celestial astrological new year for the entire planet, basically. The sun is, of course, reborn at winter solstice, which is where I would assign the devil in black to. However, we don't really start to notice more significant light until the vernal equinox here in the northern hemisphere. And so I would associate that golden devil with the spring equinox. I would associate that golden devil with the astrological sign of Aries. I would associate the golden devil with the sun of the morning, with Eosphorus, with Eos. I would associate that golden devil with Lucifer and Apollo. I would associate working with the golden devil to be a form of enhancing your own personal psychic abilities, your clairvoyance, your clairsentience. I believe that the golden devil is the devil of our psychic abilities in the craft. And those rays of light of the golden devil bring forth the coming longer days post-vernal equinox. I would associate the green devil with this old sort of wild god. Some maybe might call the green devil Pan or Cern, but the green devil, I think, is so much more liminal than that. He is the lord of the Seelie and Unseelie courts. He's connected to the green feral wilds. He's associated with life and virility. I would associate him with the summer season. I think of the Midsummer Night's Dream, right? Where we have that association with the Fae. And I have had personal workings with the devil in green myself. And I even believe that the devil in green might be one of the first versions of the devil that I really came to know in my practice through dream work and meeting him at the Sabbath. I have a video on that here on my channel as well if you are interested. It was actually kind of like a near-death experience. It was kind of crazy, but if you're interested, I would say it's worth checking into. I would associate this green devil with Cancer. I would associate the green devil with summer. I would associate the devil in green with the lords of the wild and of ferality and of virility, of reproduction and of life. When I think of the devil in green, I think of the large stag antlers. I think of this like untamed sort of forest spirit. I think of this sort of almost earthly eldritch-like being that meets you in the woods and calls to you forth. The next season of the devil, I would associate that as the red devil. And I personally tie this into the fall equinox. I work this into that time of year, and I consider the red devil to be the infernal lord. So literally that could be Satan or this Christian concept of the devil. the king of hell, if you will. I associate all of those blasphemous aspects with the red god, a sort of progenitor of witchcraft. I associate the red devil with taboos and kind of pushing boundaries. I associate the devil in that color with the changing of seasons as we lean into this period of death, which I would associate the devil in black with, the winter solstice, the man at the crossroads who you pact with and bargain with. But all 4 seasons of the devil, I think, are associated with 2 key elements. And anytime I'm meeting the devil at a Sabbath rite in the physical or the astral, at a crossroads or in the woods, 2 things really stick out to me, and that is fear and ecstasy. Now, I'm not saying that I think that the devil scares me necessarily, but there is this primal sense of fear that the devil does instill, because the devil is wild and untamed and chthonic and infernal and celestial. The devil is gold, black, red, and green, and the devil is connected to us, and I very much believe is a part of our red soul as witches, but the devil is also existing outside of us in nature, and that's where I see the devil through those 4 seasons. I'm really curious if you work with the devil in your practice in any way, and what divine names do you use for the witch's devil? Do you use the name Satan, Lucifer, Eosphorus, Pan, Cern, the man in black? How do you define this devil figure in your practice if you do work with him? I would love to know more. And do you also interpret the devil through 4 seasons? Or do you kind of combine all of them into just one archetype? I'm really, really curious. I've been really enjoying building my personal relationship with the devil, and I'm very excited to start kind of putting together a physical Sabbath meeting. The Sabbath, you know, existing in folklore, of course, in the astral, and we can fly out and meet each other there, but I'm so intoxicated with this idea of hosting a physical Sabbath or attending a physical Sabbath. So if you're hosting a Sabbath, let me know. Maybe I can make it out to that. Ever since I read Keldon Mercury's book, The Witch's Sabbath, I have just fallen in love with this idea of putting together a ceremonial group working ritual, maybe out in the woods somewhere or in some sort of old mansion that we could rent out or something and host like a fun soiree. I don't know. I'm filming this, it's currently the 3rd week of the hashtag Witches Black Lent, which is the first time that we have had this Witches Black Lent, and I've been thoroughly enjoying watching all of your videos. And I want to just say a big thank you to all of you who have been participating in the hashtag. I really, really love seeing how you are incorporating sin and finding ways to empower yourself through that. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and make sure to check out all of my links down below. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of me. Give this video a like to give it a little bit of a boost in the algorithm. And until next time, blessed be, and I will see you in hell. Now here's a little nail cam, by the way. We've got like nude nails right now. It's kind of fun. It's like vampy, flesh tone nude.